The Cleveland Cavaliers extended their undefeated start to an impressive 11-0 with a thrilling comeback against the Brooklyn Nets, winning 105-100 in front of a charged home crowd. Evan Mobley led the way for Cleveland with a stellar 23-point, 16-rebound performance, demonstrating his growing versatility on both ends of the floor. Donovan Mitchell added 22 points, but it was the late-game heroics from Darius Garland, who scored 8 of his 20 points in the fourth quarter, that truly turned the tide. Trailing 82-68 with only 35 seconds left in the third quarter, the Cavaliers looked to be in serious trouble as Brooklyn's defense clamped down, limiting Cleveland to just 13 points in the third. Led by the sharpshooting duo of Cam Johnson and Cam Thomas, who combined for 19 points in the quarter, the Nets surged ahead and seemed poised to hand Cleveland their first loss of the season. Johnson finished with 23 points, and Thomas, along with Dennis Schroeder, added 22 each. Brooklyn's defense, meanwhile, was relentless, holding the Cavaliers below 110 points for the first time this season and ending Cleveland's NBA record streak of 10 consecutive games scoring 110 or more points. However, in the fourth quarter, Cleveland's offense roared back to life. The Cavaliers shot an incredible 78% in the final period, sinking 14 of their 18 attempts. Garland led the charge, scoring key buckets and eventually putting Cleveland ahead for good with 2 clutch free throws to make it 97-96. The game-defining moment came when Garland scored 4 straight points, then found Mobley for an emphatic dunk that capped a 10-0 Cleveland run. This sequence turned a 96-89 deficit into a 99-96 lead, completely shifting the momentum in Cleveland's favor. New Cavaliers head coach Kenny Atkinson had extra motivation facing Brooklyn, the team he coached from 2016 to 2020. Atkinson acknowledged after the game that this matchup held special significance, and Mobley seemed to respond to his coach's desire for an inspired effort. Mobley's nearly flawless shooting night, 10 for 11 from the field, provided the Cavaliers with much-needed efficiency, helping them power through the rough third quarter and outlast the Nets. Historically, the Cavaliers' start is one for the record books. With this 11th consecutive win, they became just the 12th team in NBA history to begin a season 11-0, moving closer to franchise milestones set in the LeBron James era. The longest winning streak in Cavaliers history stands at 13 games, achieved 3 times when James was on the roster, most recently from November 11 to December 6, 2017. Cleveland now finds themselves 2 wins away from matching that mark, adding extra stakes to each upcoming game as they aim to keep the streak alive. Brooklyn, meanwhile, had a promising start to the game despite coming off a grueling 108-104 overtime loss to the Boston Celtics the night before. Johnson's smooth shooting and Thomas's scoring punch kept Brooklyn in control for much of the game, but the Nets ultimately couldn't contain Cleveland's explosive offense in the closing minutes. The Nets will look to regroup as they wrap up their 3-game road trip against the New Orleans Pelicans on Monday. Meanwhile, the Cavaliers will try to continue their unbeaten run as they visit the Chicago Bulls, hoping to inch even closer to history.